Morning. It's Dr. Hayze. Mind if I come in? Thank you. How are you doing? Actually, don't answer that just yet. You've only just opened the door. I'll let you wake up properly first. There we are. I'll just close the door behind me. Perfect. Now we can't be disturbed. Wow, it's nice and warm in here. I was half expecting to get caught in the rain on the way over. Right, yes. Anyway, let's have a look at you. You know, I think you're already looking a little brighter than when I spoke to you the other day. That's a good sign. Nothing dramatic, but sometimes it's the little improvements that tell me the most. Go on, take a seat. Or stay where you're comfortable. I'm not here to rush you. I've come to you today, so we're doing this at your pace. Can I put my bag down here? Perfect. I've brought everything I need, but hopefully we won't need most of it. I mostly wanted to check how you're getting on. Sometimes it's easier to recover in your own home. And sometimes it's just nice having someone pop in just to make sure everything's moving in the right direction. Before we do anything, how have you been sleeping? That's useful. Better than before? Good. I'm pleased to hear that. Sleep has a funny way of helping almost everything. We spend so much time trying to solve problems while we're awake, when sometimes the best thing we can do is let ourselves properly rest. And have you managed to eat a little? Good. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, just enough to keep your energy up. Small steps, that's all we're looking for. Now, I'm just going to put some gloves on. You know the routine by now. There we go. Nothing uncomfortable. I just like to be thorough. Would you mind holding your hand out for me? Perfect. There we are. I'm just checking your pulse. You don't need to do anything. Just relax. Nice. Good and steady. Exactly what I wanted. I know. It always feels a little strange when someone holds your wrist for this long. But there's quite a lot we can tell just from this. And it looks like yours is behaving very nicely today. There we go. All done. Can I ask you something? Completely unrelated. Have you managed to get outside at all? Just a little? That's enough. You don't need to force yourself. Fresh air, change of scenery, even opening a window, they all help. Sometimes more than people realize. Good. I'm just going to have a quick listen to your breathing, if that's all right. Perfect. Okay, so a nice slow breathe in. Good. And out. Lovely. Again for me. Breathe in. And out. Perfect. Just one more. Nice and relaxed. There we are. Very good. I'm happy with that. You've made good progress. I don't think you've quite realised it yourself yet, but I can see it. You know, I've been doing this long enough to know that recovery isn't usually one big moment. It doesn't happen overnight. It sneaks up on people. One day they realise they've smiled a bit more, they've slept a little longer, and they've had a little more energy. And then, eventually, they realise that they are themselves again. I think you're on that path. I've actually brought you something. Nothing exciting. I'm afraid doctors don't hand out trophies. It's just a little reminder. Drink enough. Eat something. Don't rush yourself. And be patient. I know. It's easier said than done. But it's amazing how often those 4 things solve half the problem. How have your energy levels been? Still up and down? That's perfectly alright. I'd actually expect that. The important thing is that they're improving overall. Not hour by hour, day by day. I think that's where people are hardest on themselves. They wake up, they feel slightly better, so they decide to do absolutely everything. Then, by the evening, they're completely exhausted again. So, I'm giving you official permission to take it easy. There. Doctor's orders. You don't need to earn your rest. Sometimes your body has already earned it for you. I'm just going to check your temperature quickly. Nothing uncomfortable. There we are. Perfect. Just hold still for a moment. There we are. Exactly where I'd hoped. Very good. I'm genuinely pleased. And I promise I don't just say that to everyone. When people get better, it's honestly one of the nicest parts of this job. And today, I think you've given me plenty to be pleased about. There we are. I think we've covered all the important checks now, and I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. You know, I always find these home visits a little different. Hospital appointments have their place, they're important, but people are different in their own homes. They're more relaxed. They don't feel like they're rushing, and they get a much better picture of how they're actually doing. I've noticed something already. You seem a lot more settled than when I first arrived. Not just physically either, you seem more comfortable. I think sometimes having someone simply check in can make quite a difference. So, thank you for letting me pop by. I'm just going to move this chair over a little. There we go. Much better. I'd rather sit beside you than stand over you. It feels more like a conversation that way. Can I ask, have you managed to do anything you enjoyed recently? Bit of gardening. Good. I'm glad. Oh, don't worry, even something small. A favourite programme, a good meal, even just a walk outside or a book. It all counts. People often think recovery only means medicine, but it isn't. Recovery is also about reminding yourself that life still has enjoyable moments in it. I'll tell you something. I've seen people recover surprisingly quickly, simply because they gave themselves permission to slow down. It's harder than it sounds. We're all so used to thinking, I should be doing something, I should be getting on with things, I should be more productive today. But sometimes the most productive thing you can do is rest. I know, it sounds strange hearing a doctor tell you to do less, but I'd much rather you recover properly once than rush things and make it take twice as long. I'm going to have another quick look over you if that's okay. Nothing uncomfortable, I promise. Look at me for a second. Good. Perfect. Oh, nothing bad. I'm mostly looking to see how alert you are. Following my voice, holding a conversation, little things. And honestly, you're doing brilliantly. You've probably noticed by now I'm not somebody who likes rushing appointments. I never have. I don't think people are problems to be solved. I think people are people. And sometimes they just need somebody to sit with them for a while. Medicine is important, of course it is, but kindness helps as well. I've always believed that. Can I get you another glass of water? Go on, I'll grab it. There we are. Take your time, no rush. Good, perfect. That's all I wanted. You know, I don't actually mind home visits. They're often one of the calmer parts of the job. I get to see people when they're comfortable. I get to have proper conversations. And usually, I leave knowing somebody's a little less worried than when I arrived. I quite like that. Plus, it gets me out of the hospital, which is very chaotic. Right, I think we've earned ourselves a moment to simply sit. No tests, no questions, no checklists, just a quiet minute. Yeah, you can probably hear the birds outside. You know, I always think they're louder when you're indoors. Funny that. I've got one last question, and it's probably the most important one. And be honest. How are you feeling compared to this morning? That's good. I thought you might say that. A little lighter and a little more relaxed? Good. I'm really pleased. Sometimes the body improves simply because the mind finally gets a chance to settle. And I think today's been good for both. So, here's a plan. I'd like you to keep doing exactly what you've been doing. Drink plenty, have something nice to eat, open the window for a while if the weather's kind, move around a little but don't overdo it. If you feel tired, listen to that. There's absolutely no prize for ignoring it. And tonight, I'd like you to have a good night's sleep. Put your phone down a little earlier if you can. Find something relaxing, maybe a cup of tea, maybe a favourite program, or just enjoy the quiet. Okay, I'm all packed up now. I don't think you'll be needing me for much longer. And honestly, that's exactly what I like to hear. You've done well. I hope you know that. Recovery isn't always obvious, but today I've seen plenty of little signs, and they all point in the right direction. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your day. No more interruptions from me. Though, I'll probably check in again before too long, just to make sure you're still looking after yourself. Until then, take things one step at a time. Be patient with yourself, and remember, you don't have to be at 100% today. You just have to keep moving in the right direction. Thank you for letting me visit. It was good to see you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.